welcome to WION's Global Leadership Series. I'm Palki Sharma and our guest today is a former president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko. He held the high office for 5 years. He led Ukraine through the first phase of the war with Russia, when Russia took Crimea. Now he has stepped up to serve Ukraine again, this time as a soldier. The invasion has forced him to take up arms. Since the beginning of this war, Poroshenko has been leading a resistance battalion in Kiev. And he joins us today from the front line. Petro Poroshenko, welcome to WION.
Okay, thank you.
You've been on the front line since the invasion began. How are you doing? Are you safe?
Me, together with the whole Ukrainian people, together with the whole official, are soldiers now. And we do our best to stop Russian aggression, to throw him out from Ukrainian soil, and to defend and protect our people. Now you hear, I don't know if you hear that or not, you hear the Russian artillery fire. Besides me, this is the very famous Retroville, which was with the multi-rocket launch system completely destroyed. This is the completely civilian object. This is the symbol of success of Ukraine during the last 8 years. This Trade Center with the 120,000 meters with the all-world brand name here. This is the residential building, which is completely destroyed. Here we have a civilian victim, which is happening now. The artillery fire is louder and louder. And with this situation, I think that this is deadly dangerous to be now in Kiev. But Kiev is fighting, Kiev is stopping, Ukraine will win this battle, and our symbol of success would be definitely rebuilt and renewed. I doubt that it is possible to, when you see it from India or from any other country in the world, because this is like in a horror film from Bollywood. But this is a disaster, believe me. And we never give up. We definite truth is with us, and we really count on you, Indian people, to support us.
Tell us about where you're standing at the moment. You say the site has become a symbol for Ukraine. Tell us more about it, and what is it like living through a war?
This is the very famous, biggest in Kiev trading center, Retroville, and the civilian housing district, which named Vinograd. You know, if you were here. Just less than 10 kilometers from here, we have a Russian tank. And we have there the fighting because our troops, including the troops of our battalion, free Irpin from the Russian occupants. They completely erased. If you were in Kiev, you know what I'm talking about. Erased Vorzel, erased Gostomel, erased Bucha, erased Irpin. That was the symbol, the Kiev suburb, the symbol of the new building, the great world-famous architecture, the residential area, which is now completely destroyed. The hundreds and hundreds civilians are killed there, killed by Russians. We have there more than 200 children which were killed. We have only in Mariupol, we have killed, the Russian killed more than 1,400 civilians. And with this situation, they are barbarian. They are Russian fashion. They killing civilians, which is they doing nothing wrong. We just live here, and nobody can explain why they are here, what they are looking for in Ukraine. But we protecting our land, we protecting our people, we protecting our future, and we thank the world for the solidarity with us. And that's why we definitely win.
As president, you led Ukraine through the first phase of the war with Russia. Did you ever think that a full-fledged invasion of your country was possible?
When I was elected as a president, Crimea was already occupied, Donbass was already occupied, and believe me, this was not a conflict between Russia and Ukraine. That was a full war. And the volume of the operation, the size of the operation was very big. But I'm proud that we stopped Russian troops there. We released 2/3 of the occupied Donbass, and we protect country by very different means, from the army means to the diplomatic means. Now I'm proud that since year 2014 we create the new country. We provide the army reform. We create a new army together with the Ukrainian people, Ukrainian volunteers. We create the new municipality structure because of the decentralization. And that's why we surprised the world. Because Putin promised that within 36 hours, he captured Kiev. And the Russian flag would be above the governmental building of Ukraine. NATO four-star general saying that, no, maybe it would be a little bit more, but definitely within 72 hours. Tomorrow would be 5 disastrous weeks of war. 5 weeks, Ukrainian armed forces and Ukrainian people fighting against, as they said, second biggest army in the world. And we surprised the world. We demonstrate that the Ukrainian army, Ukrainian armed forces, demonstrate a unique unity. All the countries against Putin, all the country against a Russian fascist who come here to kill Ukraine. You know why? Because this is not possible a compromise, because they want to have us dead. They want to erase Ukraine from the world map, and we simply want to live. And it's definitely impossible to find out the field for the compromise. But proud for the last 8 years, and I'm proud for my country. I'm proud for my presidents, and I'm proud that army, Ukrainian cultural sphere, Ukrainian religious sphere is help us to unite the nation. And it's louder and louder. So we are really in a hot war zone, in a hot war time.
Mr. Poroshenko, are you safe, sir?
Nobody is safe in Kiev, believe me. But here is definitely, you see what's going on here, and this is definitely not safe. But we live with this condition for already 35 days.
We appreciate your courage. To do this interview in such difficult conditions is no mean feat, we say. In the past, you've called Russia's President Vladimir Putin, quote-unquote, a crazy maniac. What message would you like to send him today?
I don't change my mind. And no normal person is impossible to explain what is the reason why he's doing that. He is inadequate. He is unpredictable. He is crazy. Killer, which should be behind the bars of International Criminal Court, no doubt. And unfortunately, the number of the Russian people infected by the propaganda also support that. And I just maybe have tiny hopes that they will see your TV broadcasting and please see what is the results of your action. When you come here to kill Ukrainians and thousands of Ukrainians are killed by you.
What do you make of the actions of the West so far? Do you believe their reluctance to act against Russian energy supplies has extended this war?
Look, first of all, I also think that the world is surprised with Putin, because Putin do not expect the world would be such united. Definitely yes. But we need from the world, from the global solidarity, several things. We need the Land-Lease Act to supply Ukraine everything from nutrition to ammunition. We need a closed sky with the Russian against Russian plane with anti-aircraft missiles and jet fighters. We need a second front, and this is exactly about sanction and embargo. And with this situation, I want to kindly ask of our Indian partners. we definitely insist that we should stop paying to Russia money for financing war in Ukraine. Because every single $1 billion and Russia received for their oil and for their gas, $1 billion a day. $1 billion, this means more than 300 Russian tanks go to Ukraine for one day. Means more than 200 Iskander ballistic tactical missiles per one day. And with this situation, definitely we very much welcome decision of the United States to stop buying Russian oil and gas, decision of the United Kingdom, the plan for the European Union, including, by the way, the Germany, to significantly decrease the gas consumption and stop oil consumption. And my request to India, please, I know that Russia used you in propaganda against sanctions when telling that India buying the Russian oil extremely cheap. They say that it is buying about for $25 a barrel. And you buy in a small portion, it's about for 1 or 2 days of your consumption. Please stop. This is the victims of Ukraine asking your government, please stop buying Russian oil. Please stop finance terrorists. Stop finance killing Ukrainians. This is emotional, but this is definitely, you should demonstrate the global solidarity against terrorism. Another action would be that it would be a food crisis, because Ukraine is one of the main players for supply the food to the world market. And if we do not stop the war, the price for the food would go sharply and can double on the certain product. And definitely the whole world would suffering from that, including India. And I know what does it mean. India is in my heart. Just for your information, when I was a student, it was 1st of September 1982. I have an honor to welcome in our Ukraine State University named Shevchenko a bouquet of flowers to the then India Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. And that was when she received the honorary causa degree. And with this situation, I have a short conversation with Indira Gandhi, and this is absolutely full background about the friendship between our nations. Please be together with us. Please stay firm shoulder to shoulder against terrorism. Please stop buying Russian oil and try to supply to us Indian medicine, Indian pharmacy, Indian products. This is exactly the form how we can be together.
It's become a bit of a trend in this war for everyone to dish out advice to India. You say India is buying oil from Russia. But what will you say to Europe, which has bought billions of dollars worth of gas from Russia since the beginning of the invasion? Is that not a betrayal?
My request to the European Union member states is exactly the same. That was a request of me, 5th President of Ukraine, to my friends, which is a leader of the head of state and the head of the government in European Union. And definitely we need to have a full embargo on Russian oil and gas, no matter it is European Union or India or any other nation in the world, including China. But my request, please, now I request to India, and yesterday it was exactly my request to the European Union member states. The United States and President States Joe Biden is demonstrate the leadership completely ban Russian oil and gas. Yesterday I spoke with our British partners, and Boris Johnson is completely stopped buying Russian oil and gas. And definitely the same negotiation we have, and insist that Europe should stop. And yesterday they make a decision step by step, but before the end of the year 2022, they should make a decision for significantly shortening or stop buying Russian oil and gas. We should make a pressure on Putin, bring him, to push him to peace. And this is one of the main instruments for that.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has addressed leaders in almost every capital of the Western world, but these speeches have failed to yield results, especially on issues like EU and NATO membership for Ukraine. What do you make of Zelensky's response to the invasion and the strategy that he's followed so far?
Look, I was the president of Ukraine during the 5 years of war. I'm going to tell you this is not an easy job to be the president of the country in a state of war, especially when the aggressor of your country is such a regime like Russia. And I really try to do my best to make Zelensky stronger, to support his during negotiation, because this is a great responsibility and great steps to save the country and to win the diplomatic battle on negotiation. When I was the president, I stopped and ruined Putin's plan to create Novorossiya, to divide country by two, to create Malorussia on the south and east territory of Ukraine to be divided and taken by Russia. We don't allow them to do that. I stopped the Putin's plan to blow Ukraine from inside. We don't allow them to do that. And that was 5 years of my efforts and 5 years of negotiation. This is not easy job to have negotiation with Putin, and I have several recommendations. Point number one, don't trust Putin. Putin, liar. And with just 2 days before his invasion on the 24th of February this year, Putin promised that it's just a training exercise with Belarus and it would be no invasion. Don't trust Putin. But second, don't be afraid of Putin. Be strong. And Putin go as far as we allow him to go. And with this situation, I just tell that this is full responsibility of the sixth president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky. And as a leader of the parliamentary party, as the fifth president of Ukraine, is Supreme Commander-in-Chief of Ukrainian Armed Forces 2014-2019, I definitely do my best that Zelensky goes on negotiation strong, president by strong and united Ukraine. And then we will see the results, and that would be his responsibility to reach maximum possible thing. And I do my best to help him to reach maximum.
You've advised Zelensky to stay strong and not be afraid. Would you extend the same piece of advice to NATO, which is reluctant to enforce a no-fly zone in Ukraine?
My request that NATO, this is the only effective security guarantee in the world. Not exist any other form of security guarantee. No ODKB, Budapest Memorandum. And with this situation, I think that if Ukraine received in the year 2008 the membership action plan on the Bucharest summit of NATO, and if we receive the full membership in the year 2014, it would be no Crimea annexation, it would be no war and no aggression now. And definitely we count on NATO. Definitely we expect that we can have a non-flying zone. But if some NATO member state blocking that, not allow them to make this decision to want to keep neutral status, having discussion that it's about the World War III or something like that, I have a very bad news, because war is already near the NATO borders. Putin attacking nuclear power station, which nuclear contamination don't have any borders at all. And with that situation, on the first stage, we even don't need the no-flying zone from NATO. We have a great pilot, and we need just a jet fighter. We have a great operator, and we need just anti-aircraft missiles. And this is stop Russian bomber to attack our nuclear power station, the position of our civilian and everything. So please, let's be together, let's be united. And India in my heart, it is very important, we count on you.
My final question is about India. You mentioned that exchange that you had with Indira Gandhi. What message would you like to send to India's current Prime Minister, Narendra Modi?
Dear Prime Minister, if you will have an opportunity and demonstrate the solidarity with Ukraine, please stop buying Russian oil, and please be the guest of Ukrainian now. Could you make a visit in Kiev? And your presence here in Kiev would have a great symbolic importance. Think about that. This is the decisive step of decisive person, and this is demonstrate your, dear Prime Minister, leadership for Ukraine. And point number two, this is the humanitarian assistance. We have a disastrous humanitarian crisis. And if, as I said, you can supply the world-famous Indian medicine for the suffering Ukrainian victims of the Russian aggression, that would be also very important, because friend in need is a friend indeed, my dear partners.
Petro Poroshenko, thanks very much for joining us here on WION. Stay safe, sir.